Look at that image. Ben Miller, actor, author, children's story writer now, is watching with us. Look at that. Isn't that does that fuel your imagination for beasts and extraordinary things?
Well, this is the perfect... I mean, I love a portal story, as you know, and I think that's the perfect portal to another world. There it is, right there. I would love to visit this.
Western-super-Mare.
Kingdom. Western-super-Mare.
Western-super-Mare.
Yeah.
Well, I just looking. We're talking to you. We're talking to you about all sorts of things, but we're talking to you about your new book. And I did, as I was flicking through. You've got the imagination there. Tell me about
that. Well, this.
That's the spider build. The building in the shape of a giant spider. Which kind of like reminded me of the seahorse, which we saw in Western-super-Mare.
Sea monster, not seahorse.
Oh yeah,
that's
well,
quite different
sea
thing.
monster.
It's life imitating art.
You see,
isn't it?
look at that. It's just exactly the same, isn't it?
Life imitating art.
There
yes.
you go.
So in my story, of
Let's
course.
spot the difference, eh?
There we go. There we go.
What is that in your story? What is the
so
the
that
thing?
in the story, my main character Lana, she finds this magical hollow tree, and if you climb up the inside of the hollow tree, you can go into your bedtime story. And the story she goes into is the story of Beowulf. You know, the story of Beowulf who battles the monster Grendel. Except the monster here is someone called the Spider Queen, and that we just saw is the Spider Queen's
lair,
underwater lair.
I love how you came about this story. So, did you write before lockdown?
I did write before lockdown, but you're right. The idea came during lockdown because.
Because you say thank you to your neighbours.
Yes, my neighbour's a farmer, and he said during lockdown, he said, if you like, you can walk your dog on my fields. And right behind my house, in a little valley just behind my house, I discovered this magical hollow tree. I think we might have a photo of it now. Yeah, there we go. That's me. That's me trying to get into the hollow tree.
That's quite a big hollow, isn't it?
It is just incredible because it's kind of got a face. It's got like sort of two eye holes and a nose hole. And I thought, well, this would be a fantastic venue for one of my portal stories. And I love writing these stories about children who find these portals to another world, to these magical worlds. Any resemblance to The Magic Faraway Tree by Enid Blyton?
So you could
totally incidental.
Or The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Nothing to do with it.
So you could
Children love it, though.
You could climb right inside the tree, could you? Because we saw you kind of sticking out. Could you get right in?
Pretending. I couldn't quite get in there. My kids could get in there, which is what gave me the idea, really, because only kids could get into this hollow tree and climb up the inside. So that's kind of what gave me the idea. I've tried a little bit too hard to get into that hollow tree. I find
it's got
I could just about get my head and one shoulder inside.
Don't try anymore.
Somebody walking their dog might think, is that Ben Miller stuck in that hollow tree?
That'd be a story in itself, wouldn't it? Story to tell.
Yes.
So the children's story, do you run it past? Because you've got children yourself,
children,
obviously.
right.
How does the work work? Do you write a bit and go, what do you think, kids, or do you keep it away from them in case they say?
I try the ideas out on them from the very start. Yes, so I say, you know, what about a tree where you could go into your bedtime story? My kids are the characters in my book. So Lana is my daughter in real life, and their characters in the story are just like their characters in real life. Basically, what I do is I just write down the conversation I hear in the back of the car on the school run. That's my tactic. So a lot of their genuine conversations in the book, I think they are just things that I've heard them. Certainly the way that they speak and the kind of things.
Have you had a moment where they've said, under no circumstances should what we've been talking about? I mean, I'm putting it in very like legal framework, but. Have they said to you, do you know what, I know you're going to write about stuff that we do and say, but this, no, Dad, too much.
Which is why as soon as they can write, I get them to sign a sort of a waiver.
What happens on the school run stays on the school run.
Exactly, yeah.
Really?
And in the book, yeah, but yes, yeah.
What else are you up to?
I've got a fantastic show on at the moment on ITV. It's actually on tonight, the second episode on tonight, called Professor T, which I really love. I don't know if you saw the first series, but it's essentially the premise is I play a criminologist, a professor of criminology at Cambridge University who helps the Cambridge police solve really baffling crimes. So there's a story every week where we uncover who the murderer is. But there's also another mystery that runs through the show, which is who exactly is Professor T? At the end of the first season, he had these recurring memories of some trauma when he was a child, and he can these memories where he's holding a shotgun up to his father's chest, and there's, well, at the beginning of this series, these memories are troubling him so much that he goes to see a therapist played by Juliet Stevenson.
Fabulous.
So all the way through this new series, we have him in therapy sessions.
So he's a detective?
He's a detective. Well, no, well, I suppose he's a consultant.
Okay.
To the main detective, Lisa Donkers, played by Emma Naomi.
So very different to Death in Paradise.
Couldn't be more different.
Couldn't be more different. There is a massive elephant in this room. There's a very unhappy person on this sofa.
Oh, yeah.
It's not me.
It's not me. Charlie, it must
No,
be
I'm
you.
not so much unhappy.
What's your beef,
There was a
Charlie?
previous conversation we had, Ben, in which you suggested that because of your influence, you could get me albeit a small role on Death in Paradise, which I quite fancy.
Did I really say
You
that?
did say that you had some kind of influence. I know you're not on it anymore.
I love that you think I've got any kind of power like that.
No, I'm just putting it out there.
So the script didn't come through.
Nothing happened.
No, the one where
Nothing
you're the children's party clown, and you get
Killed early doors.
Killed early
Is that
doors.
what you're thinking?
Well, I think he'd make a good...
poisoned cake.
I think
No?
he'd make a good
Poisoned
corpse, wouldn't he?
You'd make you would be amazing. He is actually there. The clown does stay on the floor throughout the whole.
You think I'm joking? I'm serious. I actually do want the gig. I'm serious.
I think you'd be amazing. I think you'd be absolutely amazing.
So you played lots of detectives. Who is your go-to detective in fiction, or maybe TV detectives over time?
Oh, I mean, so many. When I was a kid, I loved Columbo. I loved the idea that there was this kind of shambolic character who didn't
beat
really seem to
Columbo.
have it going to get. And then at the last minute, oh, one more thing.
That's very good. Do it again. Do it again.
Do it again, do it again.
If I may ask you one more thing. And then,
Like that.
then of course, reading
Yeah.
Sherlock Holmes, and this is a great. I mean, I think it's hard to compete with those. those
Good.
detective
Two
stories,
good
isn't it?
names to conjure with. Lovely to see you here today.
Lovely to see you
Thank you
too.
It's always nice
Thank
having you on the sofa.
Yeah, the clown outfit's in the post.
I'm not going to let go of this. I'm seriously not going to let go of it. I want it. The book, by the way, is called The Night We Got Stuck in a Story. Serious.
You're watching Breakfast,
Not
it's
gonna let it go.
8:59.